Good evening, I'm Dan Klein. We start with a breaking news alert.
And I'm Erica Bivens in for Amanda Barron, who's on assignment. Thanks for joining us. We have a breaking news alert for you. President Donald Trump heading back to West Virginia.
He's on Air Force One and getting ready to leave Andrews Air Force Base. Now, the last time he left D.C. and landed at the Greenbrier Valley Airport, it was a flight of 46 minutes. So we could be getting on and that's a live shot of him getting on right now. So hopefully, maybe 46 minutes later, if pilot can keep it moving, we'll be seeing him arrive in West Virginia. Now, President Trump is expected to head straight to the Greenbrier Resort after his arrival.
That's right. That's where we find News Channel 3's Andrew Colgrove standing by with a look at the scene there. Hey, Andrew, give us a look at...
Hey, Erica, this room here at the Greenbrier where this event is being held is beginning to fill up now. A large portion of the audience here, the folks having this dinner, are folks in the military. I had a chance to talk with a few of them. So grateful that the President of the United States is taking time out of his schedule to pay tribute to them on this evening before Independence Day. I talked to one man who's in the Air Force from Alum Creek. His name's Lucas Humphreys. He says his unit asked him if he wanted to come and be a part of this. He says, of course, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He said it just means a great deal, and he has enormous gratitude that the president is going to be here this evening to honor them. I also talked with a group of Vietnam veterans from the Beckley area. They say that they really appreciate the president being here. They say that the president is taking care of both old and young veterans, so they are grateful for that. Can also tell you, Eric and Dan, that they do have a table set aside at the front of this room that is going to be empty tonight. It is a tribute to missing soldiers. Guys, back to you.
All right, Andrew, thanks so much. We're looking forward to see what the president has to say there at that dinner. Meanwhile, President Trump is a guest at Governor Jim Justice's charity golf tournament meant to honor our troops.
Our Washington correspondent David Aid asked White House counselor Kellyanne Conway about the president's trip.
The president was very happy to receive an invitation from West Virginia Governor Jim Justice, and the president is attending an event that is very important to Governor Justice, where our brave men and women in the military are honored. It's part of a golf event, and the president will be there with other elected officials and some of the more famous golfers. And this is a president who from day one has always run supporting military, veterans, law enforcement, ICE, and others who put their lives on the line to keep us all safe. So it's very fitting the day before our nation's 242nd birthday, Independence Day, for the president to go to West Virginia and help out in a charity event.
As Governor Justice said in his press release yesterday, this is the 5th time the president is making the trip to West Virginia. Why does the president keep choosing West Virginia? What is it about the state? What is it about these events there?
Well, today West Virginia chose him, and that's where this charity event is. He's happy to lend his voice and his visibility to such a worthwhile cause. He's a friend of West Virginia, won the state handily, in large part because they know that he's there to support their industries, their individuals. He's been on the front line of the opioid crisis. West Virginia is the hardest hit state in our entire nation, and I'm very happy that because of his leadership, we at least are starting to bend the curve in the right direction. Fewer prescriptions, more interdictions, more money for treatment and recovery.
Thank you so much for your time. At the White House, I'm David Aid. Back to you.
Again, Air Force One is due to land at the Greenbrier Valley Airport just before 6. Of course, we'll show you the president's arrival live on air.
All right, let's talk about the weather now. Chief Meteorologist Tony Cavalier in with a check on the forecast. It's hot out there, Tony, so hot that we actually have some cooling stations set up, too.
3 Bs, blazing, boiling, and basting across the area. And it gets even hotter by tomorrow when the proverbial hot as a firecracker euphemism will be used. On to your first forecast here this evening. Temperatures peaking in the low 90s much of the area. The blazing sun setting in a fiery blaze of glory just before 9 o'clock. Now, there are a couple scattered showers and thunder showers in the mountains only. Steamy starshine by midnight, temperature near 80 in town. First thing tomorrow morning, low 70s. Noon parade in Ripley, the temperature already near 90, cresting at 95 by the end of the day. And will the jungle-like heat conjure a shower, thunder shower up? For the most part, many areas will be dry. Kind of like today, Doppler radar shows mainly quiet. However, if you go up into the West Virginia mountains, State Route 19 between Summersville and Sutton, a couple of downpours are trying to form on the high ground of Nicholas, Webster, up toward Randolph County. One could sneak into, for example, Clay County or into Braxton County, but for the most part, this activity will fade away before it does anything in the way of moving toward our area. And it's pouring from Cincinnati down toward Louisville. In other words, the activity we went through last night has backed up over into western Ohio and western Kentucky. Headlines then, it's hot as a firecracker for the 4th. I've got your pool party, parade, fireworks, and picnic forecast. And by the end of the week, there will be some thundery relief. We'll talk about it when I come back on First at 5.
All right, relief would be good. All right, Tony, thanks so much. Well, anyone who has migraines knows just how painful they can be.
Yeah, it can be so intense in the moment, but what kind of problems can a migraine cause you in the future? And breaking up is hard to do. LeBron James, though, deciding to leave Cleveland, so something big is coming down.
Now we have a traffic alert out of Cabell County. This is at the Merritt's Creek area of I-64 at the westbound ramp, which you can't really see in this live 511 cam, but we're hearing reports of a tanker that is leaking oil. We have a crew on the way and, of course, update you as soon as we get more information, Tony.
Well, as we've told you, President Trump heading back to the state of West Virginia this evening. In fact, that is him right now on Air Force One. They are leaving Andrews Air Force Base. They are just taxiing right now. Hopefully they'll be in the air in just a couple of minutes. We're told the president is expected to land just about 6 o'clock this evening. Of course, he is then heading to the Greenbrier. We will take you, of course, back to the scene when he does land over at Greenbrier Valley Airport, and we'll have team coverage for you throughout the evening.
Yeah, Tara McGee is there live now. Well, I should say she's there now. She just got back through the security checkpoint, but obviously with the president coming, you've got to be very careful with just anybody who's going to be close to the president. So as the president taxis, you'd imagine he'd be able to get up into the air pretty quickly if he is, it is Air Force One after all. As we said earlier, it's a 46-minute flight last time between Andrews and the Greenbrier Valley Airport. So certainly he appears to be on time. Initially, we were told he would land a few minutes before 6 o'clock, Erica.
Yeah, we know this is the 5th time President Trump is heading back to the Mountain State. His last trip to the Greenbrier, that was back in February, if you'll remember, for that GOP retreat. We also know that just last month, remember, the Greenbrier Classic has been renamed a military tribute at the Greenbrier. That PGA Tour, of course, is a huge event for the area. The tournament starts Thursday, and we now know that active duty and veterans will be admitted to that tournament free of charge. So this is something I'm sure President Trump and Governor Jim Justice will be speaking about as well. We're also told there's a medal recipient tonight that President Trump will be talking about. We hope to hear some more details on that and bring that to you tonight as well. The president there taking off in just a couple minutes. Looks like they are heading down the runway there at Andrews Air Force Base. Again, this is a live look at President Trump on board Air Force One heading back to the state of West Virginia.
Yeah, and he will be speaking, as we heard from Andrew a few minutes ago, at that Salute to Service charity dinner at the Greenbrier Resort, as obviously Air Force One getting up to speed and about ready to get into the air. There he goes.
A lot of excitement. We know Governor Jim Justice has been very open about his relationship and friendship with President Trump. He was just telling us yesterday he is so excited to welcome his friend, President Trump, back to the state of West Virginia. So, of course, we'll bring that to you live when he does land over at Greenbrier Valley Airport.
If we cross our fingers, maybe about 46 minutes. Well, if you've ever had a migraine, you just know how awful they can be.
Right. Haley Pilot speaks with a headache expert to learn more about migraines and also has a look at a new way to prevent them.
What we call a 10 out of 10 headache.
Gennady Gecht is a neurologist with special training in migraine and pain management. He says not all headaches are migraines.
Migraine is a very specific kind of headache that usually affects younger population, in particular women.
A severe headache lasting more than 4 hours that can cause throbbing, one-sided head pain, nausea, vomiting, and sensitivity to light.
If you're able to work while having a migraine, it's probably not a migraine. Most patients who had a migraine will never forget it.
And while they cause many different symptoms, Gecht says treatment has always been the same.
We always look for triggers, so we try to remove triggers that cause migraines.
The most common trigger
Is unfortunately stress.
which you of course can't eliminate, but you can take medication.
In the past, we've really treated patients with medications that were not designed specifically for migraines, but were designed for other things and seemed to help migraines.
Like seizure, antidepressant, and anti-inflammatory medications. But now there's something else.
It's called Aimovig. It's designed specifically for migraine headaches. It's an injectable type of device that you have to inject once a month.
Gecht says the brand new preventative medicine is meant for people who get them about 4 times a month, giving chronic migraineurs hope.
So it's not going to abort the headache while you already have it, but hopefully it reduces the overall severity of the headaches and, more importantly, the frequency of the headache.
Now, some common side effects include pain or redness at the injection site, constipation, muscle spasms, or even cramps.
Well, coming up a little bit later, we've got some dramatic video right there of a driver just out of control.
Yeah, it's all caught on camera by a Good Samaritan. Find out what he did to help police.
In your Logan weather cam, it's the eve of the West Virginia Freedom Fest down on Middleburg Island into the upcoming weekend. Parade, fireworks tomorrow, lots of activities, big concerts through the weekend. Updated forecast when I come back on First at 5.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Matt.
Have you been injured through someone else's negligence?
We can help you.
We share more than 50 years' experience in dealing with insurance companies.
We will ensure that you and your family are treated fairly.
When you call our office, you will deal directly with one of us.
We will even come to you.
That's right. Matt and I would deal directly with you.
Woofle and Woofle, we've helped thousands of folks just like you.
Founded here in West Virginia, Mylan is now one of the largest pharmaceutical companies serving patients around the world. 3,000 of us work in Morgantown, making groundbreaking discoveries in medicine you can trust. We are the second largest provider of prescription medicine in the United States, and the majority of what we sell in America is manufactured in America. Mylan, better health for a better world, a better America, a better West Virginia.
Parks has the Kubota L3301 33 horsepower four-wheel drive heavy-duty tractor. Test drive your Kubota today. Add a loader, backhoe, and save thousands. Parks is your full-service dealership, and we're adding a new location in Morgantown. Work hard, play harder. Parks. Parks has the full lineup of Kubota L-Series tractors from 26 to 39 horsepower. Four-wheel drive, diesel, build a package and save from mowers, loaders, tillers, trailers, and more. Parks is your full-service Kubota dealership, and we're adding a new location in Morgantown. Work hard, play harder. Parks.
Has your carpet seen better days? Maybe your flooring just needs a fresh look? Then you need to give Bill a call and improve the flooring in your home. Featuring quality flooring products at Thompson Flooring, you'll be amazed at the plush and luster added back into your home with new flooring. Busy schedule? Thompson's offers free in-home shopping so we can bring our showroom to you. Give Bill a call and see what Thompson Flooring can do for you. Thompson Flooring, Wheelersburg, Ohio, 740-574-4800.
HD Dual Doppler Radar, brought to you by the Hands of Experience at St. Mary's Medical Center.
The White House flag flying at half-staff to honor those 5 people murdered at a Maryland newspaper.
The flag was lowered this morning, President Donald Trump ordering the honor until sunset. His presidential proclamation covering all federal property along with embassies and other facilities abroad. As we've told you, since that time, a gunman shot and killed 4 journalists and a sales assistant inside the Capitol Gazette in Annapolis last week.
Yeah, both governors, Jim Justice and Ohio Governor John Kasich, are ordering flags to be flown at half-staff as well to honor those victims of the newspaper shooting. Flags in West Virginia and Ohio will remain at half-staff, we're told, until sunset. Well, a dangerous wild ride caught on camera on a New Jersey highway. Take a look at this video here. You can see in the dashboard camera video just that out-of-control driver there swerving across the highway for miles.
Yeah, a Good Samaritan with the dash cam spotted the vehicle barreling down the highway at an estimated 100 miles an hour.
Wow.
Dangerous driver sideswiped a white SUV, nearly spun out into oncoming traffic. Whoa, can you imagine? Unbelievable. And even plowed through a roadside highway sign. Person stayed on his tail until police were able to get things under control. He says he hopes the dramatic video serves as a powerful warning for anyone thinking about drinking and driving, especially around the holiday.
Yeah. Well, a woman in Massachusetts is badly injured when she exited a Boston Transit train. This is some surveillance footage from that moment. The woman's leg, if you look closely, became caught between an Orange Line train and the platform there. This happened Friday. Now, other passengers, as you can see, just gathering desperately trying to free her, even at one point trying to just push the train to no avail. Her leg was cut down to the bone. Officials say that gap between the train and the platform was only about 5 inches wide. Well, firefighters in Central Oregon on the front lines of a growing wildfire. The Mecca fire has consumed more than 700 acres of grass, juniper, and brush. This is near the town of Warm Springs.
Today, homes in the path of the fire were ordered to evacuate. This is all happening about 2 hours southeast of Portland. Busy Highway 26 was also shut down yesterday as crews battled that fire burning near the Deschutes River, and certainly very dry conditions there. And we're talking, though, here about not necessarily record heat, but it's I'm told it's going to be the hottest day in about 6 years. At least it's going to feel that way starting tomorrow.
And that feel-like temperature will be 100 or better. That's how it'll feel, combination of humidity and temperature mid and late afternoon tomorrow. I'm going to start you in Ashland, our weather camp sponsored by SOMC, where we've got the Marshall Tucker Band on stage over on the riverbank tonight. Summer motion is in motion, and boy, do we have plenty of heat to talk about. So it's on to your first forecast. The sultry evening sun will set in a blaze of glory. Now there is, or I should say there are, a couple of scattered showers and storms in the mountains only. So most of us missing out. We settle into the 80s as the sun sets, and downtown will still be 80 over near the Paramount by the time we get to midnight. First thing tomorrow morning, we're starting out in the 70s. The Independence Day parades, I'm going to do 2, but I'm going to scale back as far as activities are concerned because of the blazing sun. By 10 a.m. in Hamlin, where I'll be, the temperature's already jumping through the 80s, and by 4 o'clock after I cool down and head to Gallipolis, the temperature at 95. So folks will be in the shade over at City Park and Gallipolis in particular, and in downtown Hamlin even early during the morning hours. High sunburn and heat index. That's why the National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory tomorrow for our area, because we start out in the 70s and heat to 95 by the end of the day. Scattered shower, thunder showers, the best we'll do. And the fireworks tomorrow night will feature temperatures in the steamy 80s. Barely a breath of wind, and temperatures have jumped into the low 90s here at 5 o'clock with 55% humidity. Look at Elkins at 72. They've had a downpour up in the Cheat River Valley of northern West Virginia. But most of us are in this nice gap between the showers and thunder showers. A couple cells are trying to form Nicholas up toward, for example, Randolph County, clipping through Webster County. One could get into eastern Braxton County as it moves north. But this activity is not likely to reach I-79 in Braxton County so much as it will up toward, for example, Morgantown. A couple of downpours in northern West Virginia. Here's our dry slot, and here are the showers and thunderstorms to the west. This was the pattern that was over us yesterday. It's backed up over into the lower Ohio Valley from Cincinnati down toward Louisville and Cairo, Illinois. A couple showers and boomers. But here we are this evening. We're hot and dry here. A shower in the mountains and a shower west toward Cincinnati. Tomorrow and right on through the day on Thursday, lots of hot tropical sunshine. By the end of the day Thursday, shower and thunder showers could approach. And Thursday night into Friday, I do expect a couple of tropical downpours. But overall, the heat wave from coast to coast will start to ebb by the weekend as a front comes down from the north. Finally, some cooling showers and thunderstorms will work their way through, and temperatures will settle back to more moderate levels this weekend. So steamy sun this evening, hot and dry for most, including Ashland for summer motion. 80s as the sun sets. Overnight, warm and stuffy, foggy in spots, low 72. Tomorrow, we not only have Independence Day, but we have the start of the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair up in Ripley. Big parade, of course, in noon in Ripley is always a big one. Blazing sun, tropical heat, just a scattered thunder shower in the mountains probably. 95 on the thermometer, but you and I will dress for the heat index of over 100. Tomorrow evening, dry for most. A thunder shower only in the mountains, we figure. It's a steamy fireworks. We're in the low 90s on Thursday, and then here we go. Friday, Saturday, some showers and downpours through early Saturday morning, and that means we have lower humidity. Look at that. We even have an overnight low temperature in the upper 50s noted by Sunday morning. Finally, a break from the heat.
Yeah, in the meantime, stay cool, stay hydrated, and definitely don't forget about the pets out there.
I like that idea of hydration.
All right, thanks so much, Tony. Coming up, hope you're hungry, a hot dog gone competition. It's all about speed, how competitors are getting ready for a 4th of July hot dog eating contest.
And ahead in your 5:30 edition, of father who steps in to help when his wife couldn't feed their newborn. His loving gesture, which is now going viral. 2 men are seriously injured after a shooting at a bingo hall.
Yeah, it happened overnight in the Farmers area of Rowan County, Kentucky. Harvey Kissick is charged in that shooting. Deputies say a group of about 10 to a dozen people were setting off fireworks in a gravel parking lot that belongs to that bingo hall. Well, Kissick, who lives nearby, became angry and fired 2 gunshots at that group. Both victims were told are stable at a hospital in Lexington. The victims' names and a possible motive, though, haven't been released. Kissick is charged with 2 counts of assault.
Police are searching for the man suspected of shooting 2 co-workers who were installing synthetic turf on a playground at an elementary school in Kansas. Now, no children were on school property at the time of the shooting. The shooter is still on the run after carjacking a car. The carjacking victim, thankfully, wasn't hurt. Police have surrounded a home where they believe the suspect is holed up. Police haven't said what the workers' argument was all about. Well, the Minnesota Attorney General filed a lawsuit against a major pharmaceutical company that she says misrepresented itself.
Yeah, Attorney General Lori Swanson is suing Purdue Pharma, alleging the company downplayed the dangers of their prescription drugs. That lawsuit looks to recover money to cover increasing health care and society costs related to the opioid epidemic.
We'll have to show the company made these misrepresentations. They said it's safe. They say it's not addictive. They minimize the addiction. Therefore, they should ultimately be responsible for any reasonable effect of that.
Denies misrepresenting their products, calling the lawsuit a disappointment. They add that they're amid good faith negotiations.
Comedian Andy Dick is facing charges of sexual battery and simple battery, accused of groping a woman in April. The Los Angeles city attorney filed 2 misdemeanor charges and is seeking an arrest warrant. TMZ reports the woman told police he grabbed her inappropriately and made lewd comments as he walked past her on a sidewalk. Dick has not commented publicly. You may remember he faced charges in Huntington after a performance here, accused of lewd actions at a downtown bar. The Federal Trade Commission warns that vacation rental scammers are trying to get your booking and take your money. The FTC has some tips on how to avoid falling for rental scams. Be on the lookout for ads that offer super cheap rates for premium vacation properties. If the rent seems way below market value, it could signal a scam. Never wire money or pay with a prepaid or gift card for a vacation rental. And then don't be rushed or pressured into making a decision regarding the property in question. Get a copy of the contract before you send any deposit money and make sure that the address actually exists.
All right, so this next video is either going to make you hungry or nauseous, but it is a 4th of July tradition.
Yeah, contestants are getting ready for the famous Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Of course, the one and only in Coney Island, New York. This morning, competitors weighed in at the Empire State Building. Defending champ Joey Chestnut, we'll see him in a second, has won the event 10 times. There he is, slated to compete yet again tomorrow.
Yeah, last year, Chestnut ate 72 hot dogs in just 10 minutes. Can you imagine doing that? Yeah, that's actually one fewer than his record of 73. Contestants have 10 minutes to chow down on as many hot dogs and buns as they can, with a total prize purse of $40,000 on the line. Tim, I think you'd be perfect for that.
I think why not? Yeah, I could beat Joey and Kobayashi and still come out.
I'd like to see that.
Not really.
I would like to see that.
No, those days are behind me. I'm trying to be more mature now.
Just one day a year.
Hey, coming up today at 5:30, don't try to beat the heat, just stay cool. The high temperature has a lot of folks rethinking their holiday plans. And then coming up tonight at 6, city leaders working to clear the air. Smoking bans moving outdoors in Putnam County.
Southern West Virginia Community and Technical College is now offering a program for students to enter the exciting career of power sports repair. For more information, go to southernwv.edu.
It's picnic season at Arby's. Each purchase of an Arby's Market Fresh sandwich includes a free picnic space. It's in the parking lot. It's a parking spot. Arby's, we have the meat.
It's time for Ashland's Summer Motion. Things kick off June 30th and July 1st at Central Park with games, fun, and music at the bandstand. Then the fun moves to the riverfront with contemporary Christian music on the 2nd, classic rock on the 3rd, and country music on the 4th. It all ends with a huge fireworks show. Go to summermotion.com for the full schedule. And don't miss Ashland's Summer Motion, June 30th through July 4th in downtown Ashland.
Car wreck? Just call VTOL and get the no-fee guarantee.
After your accident, even the little things can seem overwhelming. That's why at VTOL and VTOL, we make it easy to get an attorney. With our no-fee guarantee, you never pay us anything unless we collect money for you. So don't worry, don't wait. Just call VTOL.
If you've been injured, just call VTOL, home of the no-fee guarantee. 1-877-250-HURT.
You need a website for your business that looks great on any device. That's where WSAZ's Local X Team can help. Right now, buy a website with WSAZ's Local X Team and get a free digital web campaign. Email us at website@WSAZ.com now.
Become one of the folks that keeps the fun rolling. Southern West Virginia Community and Technical College uses interactive classroom instruction and hands-on experience to give students a real-world education. Go to southernwv.edu and click the Power Sports slide now.
Dr. Phil, weekdays at 3 on WSAZ News Channel 3.
We continue our coverage of President Donald Trump's visit back to West Virginia this evening for the 5th time now since taking office.
The president expected to land within the next 30 minutes at the Greenbrier Valley Airport, and that's where we find News Channel 3's Jatara McGee standing by, awaiting the first sight of that plane.
Yeah, Tim, on the eve of this 4th of July, this is President Trump's 3rd visit to West Virginia just this year, and his 5th since taking office. He's going to be heading over to the Greenbrier Resort for a salute to service dinner. It's part of the PGA Tour this week. And Governor Justice has been saying, his friend and Governor Jim Justice has been saying that he's overjoyed to see the president back in West Virginia, especially to honor the military. Now, this visit comes just about a week after the governor traveled to the Capitol in Washington, D.C., meeting with President Trump. And there they discussed the Trump Justice coal plan and a timber manufacturing plan as well. And I can tell you that just about 3 minutes ago, Donald Trump tweeted, presumably from his airplane on Air Force One, saying, heading to West Virginia to be with my friend at West Virginia Governor Jim Justice at his beautiful Greenbrier Resort. He works hard, does a great job, and raises lots of money for charities. The president should be touching down in just a few minutes here, and he will be greeted by the West Virginia governor here at the airport and then also introduced at the dinner tonight, guys, over at the Greenbrier.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Jatara. And we do know that President Trump's visit is for tonight's salute to service dinner, as Jatara mentioned, at the Greenbrier in White Sulphur Springs.
Yeah, News Channel 3's Andrew Colgrove joins us live from the Greenbrier, where the president is expected to speak at that charity event we've been talking about just a little later this evening. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Erica, this room here at the Greenbrier is starting to fill up. Military personnel are standing in front of the podium where President Donald Trump will be speaking. They're taking pictures. A lot of smiles on these faces here this evening. I've had a chance to talk with some of these folks. Ronnie McKinney, a 72-year-old Korean War veteran from Wyoming County. He told me that he got a phone call on Sunday that he was being invited to this event to see the President of the United States. He says his eyes started tearing up. He says this is his first time ever seeing a sitting president. He says it means the world to any service personnel that they would get a chance to hear directly from the commander-in-chief. He says he got nervous when he got that phone call. He says it's the first time he's been nervous in a really, really long time. He also said he feels like this country needs to come together, stop with the divisiveness, and let the commander-in-chief do the job that he was elected to do. Tim and Erica, I also talked with some younger military personnel. They say they hope that they hear President Trump talk a little bit about the Space Force tonight. They say it might be a fun idea to possibly transfer to that branch at some time in the future. We'll see if he addresses that not too long from now. Back to you guys.
We'll have to wait and see. And as you can see, there are a lot of folks in their formal military dress. Andrew, thanks so much. And again, Air Force One is due to land in just about the next half hour. When that happens, we will take you back to the Greenbrier Valley Airport for that.
Meteorologist Chelsea Ambrose is in with a look at the forecast. Chatera may have the toughest job today because she is out there on the tarmac. Did you see her? She was trying to seek a little shade. That's smart.
Yeah, I mean, when you get the heat not only from the sun, but bouncing off the concrete, the blacktop, it makes it feel even worse in our downtown urbanized areas on the tarmac where Chatera is. And so if you have outdoor plans this evening, our downtowns are going to be a lot hotter than our hilltops across the region. So temperatures will still be sitting in the upper 80s to low 90s through about 7 o'clock. And then after sunset, we'll fall quickly back through the 80s and back through the 70s. And then in the morning, it will be a sticky, warm start to the day with temperatures sitting in the low 70s. A warm start to what will turn into another hot day. Isolated rain showers in the forecast. Most of us will stay rain-free once again for our Independence Day. We also have heat advisories, excessive heat warnings that are in effect until 8 o'clock tonight and once again tomorrow, as we have that heat index, the feel-like conditions outside that could stretch into the triple digits. HD dual Dopplers, sunny skies across our region. There are some showers that are tucked in the mountains and to our west. Most of these are moving south to north, so anything that does pop will be coming out of Virginia, out of the coal fields through our region. But right now, we don't have as much action across our area as we did yesterday, and eventually the rain showers will bring relief to our forecast, but it won't come until the end of our work week leading into the weekend.
With temperatures like this, it's difficult not to have electricity to run those air conditioners, right? But that's exactly what's going on for many folks tonight. This is actually the AEP's website of outages right now, showing less than 400 customers without electricity in Charleston. Definitely not a good day not to have air conditioning. We hope those folks can seek somewhere cool to hang out for the rest of the evening or until that power comes back on.
It kind of goes without saying that this type of heat can really be dangerous if you're not careful.
Right. Absolutely, and what will feel like maybe the hottest day in 6 years is actually coming tomorrow. The day many people have set aside to maybe be outside. News Channel 3's Dan Klein reports with a heat index hitting 105 degrees or even higher tomorrow. It's got a lot of folks rethinking those holiday plans.
Already sweating.
And Melinda Martin is just putting away groceries.
Tomorrow will feel like the hottest day since 2012.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's making her rethink her holiday plans, usually spent next to the grill, cooking up a hot meal for her entire family.
I've been trying to say let's wait till the weekend when it cools off, but maybe we'll do that.
We're cooking out T-bones.
For Jennifer Kniff and her husband, a veteran, no change in plans.
We go in every few minutes. But my husband is a big griller.
An expected high of 95 degrees and a heat index or feels like temperature of 105, no problem.
It felt like 109 at Myrtle Beach last week, and I'm still here.
Potato chips for our picnic.
Jackie Crabtree is heading to Camden Park tomorrow with her 3 kids.
We try to do something special with the kids every year.
The key to surviving this year.
I'm going to take lots of water.
As well as
sunscreen. It's going to be tough, but
still worth it.
Still worth it.
Another popular answer in the Bartram's parking lot, and a smart one too, comes from Joyce McClellan.
We're going to be sitting home under the air conditioning.
But if you can't stay indoors, take it easy, even on the holiday. Try to stay in the shade. Reschedule your family picnic for earlier in the morning or later in the evening. If Martin can't talk her family into doing that, she's already got a plan for her grill time.
Flip them and go in the house and wait a couple of minutes and go back out. Just keep going back and forth.
Good points there, right? Now, a few more tips from the CDC. Wear lightweight, light-colored, and loose-fitting clothing. So maybe a nice patriotic white shirt tomorrow. Pace yourself, too. And also, keep a special eye on those who are at high risk for heat-related illnesses, including infants and young children, adults 65 and up, those who are overweight, and people who are already ill with conditions maybe like heart disease or high blood pressure. And, of course, don't forget about those pets either.
Attorney General Patrick Morrisey. So there's a larger crowd today, but also they've got a little bit more time today. They were running pretty much on schedule last time. Today they landed, wheels down was set to be about 5:55. They landed early, so he may actually have time today to go over and greet some of those people. They're certainly hoping that he does.
All right. And one thing that we expect to see from the president today is a very much a show of patriotism. Not only is it July 4th, but of course, as we pointed out, the president will be making that return visit to Greenbrier County because he's going to be it's called the Military Tribute at the Greenbrier Golf Tournament, part of the PGA, formerly known as the Greenbrier Classic. So the president seizing upon that moment of not just July 4th, but also that tonight will be the Salute to Service dinner in White Sulphur Springs. That dinner is still expected to start about 6:30, so the president arriving just a few minutes earlier than we even thought he would. I don't believe, and Jatera, I don't think you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong here, unless maybe you've heard something else. I don't believe that his earlier arrival means that dinner will start any sooner. The White House, in fact, through the president's YouTube channel, has the dinner set to start and the live broadcast on his YouTube channel right at 6:30 p.m., correct?
Right. Well, yeah, right. And the communications people haven't given us a whole lot of information in terms of whether or not they were even running on time. So we don't have that information for you to see if they'll start any earlier. I doubt it. And I can see West Virginia Governor Jim Justice now, who has made his way with his wife, First Lady, and Tim Armstead's over there. Senator Shelley Moore Capito is over there. So we've got a lot of people waiting to greet him. Last time it was just Senator Shelley Moore Capito and Governor Jim Justice. So he's getting a bigger, warmer welcome in terms of the immediate group that are going to be waiting to see him when he comes from that, what I believe you can see right now, down that red staircase. There's also a bigger group waiting to see him over in the staging area with supporters. And I can tell you all that the president tweeted, oh, there he is right there. You can see President Trump waving, fist pumping and clapping, acknowledging his supporters who are waving back. Everyone has their cameras up, just about everyone. And I don't know if you can hear them cheering or not, but they are. They're waving to him. He's making his way down the stairs, saluting. And he is now going first to who he calls his good friend and the governor, Jim Justice. I cannot see exactly who he's next greeting, but I did already tell you all who is in that immediate group.
Kathy Justice right there next to the governor. And Armstead, it looks like, perhaps. It's hard to tell by the profiles, Jatera. You're right. Despite the fact that you are in a much better angle than we are, where there's Patrick Morrissey, it's tough to see those faces from the profiles and the backs of the heads.
Right, and you all have a much better vantage point than me because you're seeing the zoomed in version from our camera here. I'm a little bit further back. But I can tell you all, too, what I was saying before the president came outside is that he tweeted, we believe when he was in the air, it was just a matter of about 20 minutes ago, maybe 30, saying, heading to West Virginia to be with my friend, and he tagged the governor, Jim Justice, at his beautiful Greenbrier Resort. He works hard, does a great job, and raises lots of money for charities. The governor also tweeted last night, we'll try to give you a look at that a little bit later, but he tweeted last night a picture of himself and the governor, or himself and the president in the Oval Office when they were in D.C. last week. And the crowd is waving again. I think they're trying to get his attention, hoping he'll stop over this way.
You can imagine, too, how hot it is out there, that obviously he might say a few hellos to the dignitaries who are there and then probably get into the limousine there and head over to the Greenbrier. I'm not sure how long they're going to stick around out there to chat, but obviously he's taking some pictures there, it looks like, with Senator Shelley Moore Capito right there. And
he's waving and fist.
Let's see if he'll make his way over.
He is waving and fist. I think that's actually the question, is they're seeing President Trump just pointed over there and asked a question. Here he comes.
There he goes.
Oh, this crowd is loving it, too. Signs high. They're waving. John, if we move up a little bit this way, we might be able to see the crowd.
The early arrival is making this possible, too. The fact that he got there a few minutes earlier. The last time he was right on schedule and really had to get hustling over to that meeting where that took place. But this gives him a few extra minutes.
And we're going to stay with the president. You can see him there shaking hands. And you better believe we're going to be checking in with some of these supporters, too, finding out what exactly he's saying. There are some of the national cameras down there that may be picking up the conversations between the president and some of his supporters. This is a pretty diverse group in terms of age. There are some small children down there. Definitely a cool event for them. There are some older people, some middle-aged people all over the state. We talked to people who've come from Charleston. I've seen people who live further out in Huntington. Last time the president landed, it was mostly a local group, mostly people from Greenbrier County, but that is not the case today.
And Jatera, can you answer the question of, maybe you're not, maybe this is unfair to put you on the spot, but the folks who are meeting with the president right now, just from a security and safety standpoint, did these folks have to go through a screening before they even got this far? I would imagine they would.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Security is super tight up here. We went through security, obviously the media. You can see, and we'll show you as soon as the motorcade takes off, how many Secret Service vehicles are here, but I can tell you at least about a dozen. There are secret security and plainclothes and in uniform all over the complex. That entire group of supporters had to go through a clearance. I can't tell you, I'm not positive if they were pre-selected or how that worked out, but I can tell you that they had to go through significant security, had to be waved down with the metal detector and went through their bags and that sort of thing.
What about the heat for them? Is that going to be, have they had to stand in that same spot for a long period of time?
Well, they haven't. We didn't get out here, and it is hot, but we didn't get out here until about maybe 5:25.
Okay.
Everything was delayed for a reason we still haven't been able to get some clear answers on, but they were saying that security sweeps may have been delayed and it pushed everything back. So thankfully they didn't have to wait outside too long. It is close to 90 degrees, so we've been all joking between the supporters. There were some protesters here earlier, different people in the communications with the president, with the media, joking around saying we all need to make sure we drink plenty of water because it is extremely hot out here. And the sun, if you're in the front group of the supporters, you're getting a lot of the sun.
Oh, I bet.
The media is getting a lot of it, but if you're in the back of that group, you might not have a great vantage point, but at least you're in the shade.
It's supposed to be cooler in the mountains. Apparently Mother Nature didn't get the memo, because right now you can see on the Secret Service heads, you can see a lot of glistening that's going on right now, because those guys in full suits and fully packed. They've got to be really hot right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he has some big fans over there. There are people that I've watched campaigning during the primary election, campaigning and saying how much they admire the president. There are also people over there who are just regular people who are excited to get the opportunity to see him. And we've talked about how infrequent it is to have a sitting president visiting your state so often. I believe yesterday it was that the governor in a press conference said the president told him he has made more trips and spent more time in West Virginia than almost any other state other than New York and one other state that's slipping my mind. I did some fact checking. I'm not sure that's 100% accurate. He spends a lot of time in Virginia and Maryland, but West Virginia is one of those top ranking states when it comes to visits that President Trump has made. He's visited West Virginia more than most states. That is fair to say.
It was back in 2002. I just had to look it up because I thought, well, what year was it that George W. Bush came? George W. Bush came to Ripley in Jackson County for a 4th of July celebration, July 4th of 2002. So this marks at least the second time in my memory, anyway, that we've had a presidential visit. Now, this is July 3rd, obviously, but where George Bush was actually there on the 4th for the 4th ceremony. But this is, as we've seen with a lot of holidays like this, this stretches that this began actually on Saturday. So the July 4th long extended holiday weekend could be stretched out like that. We see a lot of fireworks shows that take place. There he is holding up one of those Make America Great sign again all throughout the weekend. So this is kind of considered the July 4th, even though it's July 3rd. So the president expecting some folks along the way on the motorcade. Did you notice that the last time that there were people anywhere along the route waving to the president? Did you notice that, Jatera?
Honestly, Tim, we couldn't get out of the airport fast enough to see if that was the case. You could imagine that there might be people waiting, but I can't tell you for sure whether or not there were. And there also might be people waiting near the Greenbrier to see if they can catch a glimpse of him there. It's kind of interesting, though. I mean, if you live in this area or you live nearby, you've had 3 opportunities just this year to see the President of the United States in person. That's not very common. That's something that Governor Jim Justice has touted. He says it's one of the things in the exposure that the president is bringing in these trips that is going to set West Virginia apart and hopefully move West Virginia up from what he likes to say is 50th.
Yeah, and you're seeing President Trump there autographing signs, taking selfies, a lot of pictures there. You see a lot of folks wearing the Make America Great Again hats as well. He's spending quite a bit of time out there chatting with the folks who have come out to see him.
Oh, yeah. I don't think anyone expected him to be there that long. I mean, usually he might and of course, as we say that, he looks like he's stepping away. He might stand by for a moment or two, and he looks like there's one more fan that caught his attention. But usually he might stop by for a moment or two. He was over there for several minutes. I mean, there's some little kids, I don't know if you could see, on their parents or their loved ones' shoulders that are getting to see this. People holding up their phones, getting a close-up view of them. So a very cool moment for them. And we mentioned some of those politicians that are here too, but we have to point out too that many of those politicians are hoping to benefit from this encounter. We have Attorney General Patrick Morrisey, for example, running for Joe Manchin's current seat, Senator Joe Manchin's current seat, and the president has openly said, he's tweeted in support of him, that they need that seat. They want that seat turned red, and that was a big topic of conversation during this primary election back in May when he co-endorsed via Twitter Attorney General Patrick Morrisey and Congressman Evan Jenkins, of course, Attorney General Patrick Morrisey winning there. So I know the Attorney General is hoping that his relationship with the president that's developing can help him pull out a win come November. You just saw him climb into the motorcade, and now there is a long procession getting ready to follow President Trump out. He just waved one last time at the crowd. There's a long procession waiting to follow President Trump out of Greenbrier Valley Airport and back to the Greenbrier for the third time this year.
All right. Hey, thanks very much.
And guys, we mentioned that long procession that we didn't see last time. Well, you're seeing it right now. There were not this many vehicles en route last time. I'm not sure if that has any significance or not. Maybe it speaks to more of his family and friends. There's Delegate Carol Miller that just went past. They rolled down the window that I could see. But this is a larger procession, the largest one that I have seen with the presidential motorcade leaving the airport in all of his visits in recent memory.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, Jatera. We're going to check in now with Andrew Colgrove. We know the president's visit. He is here for the Salute to Service dinner at the Greenbrier, not too far away, just down the road in White Sulphur Springs.
Right, News Channel 3's Andrew Colgrove is standing by live from the Greenbrier, where the president's expected to speak at that charity event a little later this evening as soon as he can make it out there. Hey, Andrew, it's loud out there.
Yeah, they've turned up the volume on the music here a little bit, Erica. The room here at the Greenbrier where the president will be speaking is just about full now of military personnel and veterans. Absolutely elated and thrilled that the commander-in-chief is going to be addressing them directly here and paying tribute to them. I've had a chance to talk with a few of the folks in the crowd, a couple young men serving in the Army National Guard from Morgantown and Martinsburg. They told me that they think it's absolutely incredible and a very big deal that the sitting commander-in-chief would take time to address them. They say they maybe are hoping for a little personal interaction with President Trump. They say they wouldn't mind that. They say they are also hoping he might talk some about the idea of the Space Force that he has discussed. They say they like the fact that he's not a regular politician. They feel like he is doing positive things for the state of West Virginia and paying more attention to the state than previous administrations have. Also talked with a 72-year-old Korean War veteran. He told me he got a phone call on Sunday that he was invited to this event. He says this will be his first time seeing a sitting president. Tim and Erica, he told me when he got the news that he was going to be here, he started crying. It was so emotional for him. It means so much to him after all this time to finally get to see a sitting president. Guys, back to you.
All right, Andrew, thanks so much. You can see a lot of the military men and women that are there in full military dress, formal uniforms. And of course, we want to point out that we will be carrying that speech live right here on WSAZ and also online on WSAZ.com. Well, westbound entrance ramp there on I-64 is closed after a wastewater truck crashes along the Merritts Creek exit. Our crews on the scene there say the driver of the truck told police he drove into the curve wrong, and then the water he was carrying in the tanker truck shifted. That tanker truck then turned over but did not spill any of its 5,000 gallons of construction wastewater. We're told that water is not hazardous, but crews will be on site there cleaning up the debris for about another hour. We're told he does not have any major injuries, and people on the scene out there actually helped that truck driver get out of the vehicle as well.
Detectives are searching for a suspect after a violent home invasion in South Webster, Ohio. A deputy with Scioto County Sheriff's Department tells us the suspect broke into a home along Skull Hollow Road in Bloom Township just today and attempted to rape someone inside and then shot a 16-year-old. The deputies believe the suspect may be driving a stolen four-wheeler, but we do not think that it was stolen from the home where the home invasion happened. We can tell you also no arrests have been made.
Police are trying to figure out a motive after a shooting in the parking lot of a bingo hall. It happened last night just about 10 o'clock near Farmers. That's right out west of Moorhead, just along Route 60. Rowan County deputies say a group of people were in a parking lot just outside the bingo hall setting off fireworks. Well, that's when deputies say this man, Harvey Kissick, fired 2 rounds into that crowd. They say Kissick is a neighbor who lives close to the bingo hall. Now, 2 men were shot. They were taken to St. Clair Regional Medical Center and then later flown to UK Hospital. Deputies say they are both in the ICU but are stable. Kissick was charged with 2 counts of assault, but deputies say those charges could actually be upgraded and other charges are pending as well. A man was cited by police with weapons charges after TSA at the Raleigh County Memorial Airport found a loaded gun inside his carry-on. The traveler, who was from Oak Hill, told officials there he forgot the gun, which was loaded with 4 bullets, was right there packed in his bag. Officers later arrived and confiscated that weapon. Passengers are permitted, of course, to travel with firearms in checked baggage if they're properly packed and also declared. Firearms must be unloaded, packed in a hard-sided case, and locked as well. A typical first offense for carrying a handgun into a checkpoint, nearly $4,000. Of course, tomorrow is July 4th. It also may feel like maybe the hottest day in about 6 years since the summer of the derecho.
The heat index, basically how it could feel, might be about 105 or more, so plan accordingly. Especially if you're older, try to stay indoors, at least for a portion of the day tomorrow. Make sure you stay hydrated, too. And wear light-colored clothing if you're outside. Make sure it's loose-fitting. Nice and cool. One shopper told us her big picnic was being brought indoors because of the heat. Another one said if she couldn't move it until the weekend, she plans to stay away from the grill at least as much as she can. But not everyone was really worried.
Drink plenty of water and get under the shade tree and cool up in the air conditioner when I can.
We just got back from the beach a week or so ago, and hey, it was over 100 every day down there, so I'm used to it.
Especially if you're having some friends and family over tomorrow for a picnic or grilling out, keep a special eye on those who are at high risk for heat-related illnesses, including infants, young children, and adults 65 and up. Those who are overweight and people who are already ill and have conditions like heart disease or high blood pressure are also at risk. Thousands of people in Kanawha County spent the night in the dark and the heat after the storms rolled through this weekend.
Yeah, there's a little bit of good news in this. Crews say they are almost done restoring power to all the customers. Actually, just about 200 customers are currently without power. Power restoration, they say, is expected as late as midnight, so make sure you take that into consideration. It's definitely still hot out there. Now, customers affected are primarily in the Rocky Fork and Cross Lanes areas. We'll, of course, keep you updated on WSAZ.com as we get more information. Well, because of the dangerously high heat index, the following cooling centers have been set up: Aldersgate in Sissonville and at the Tyler Mountain Volunteer Fire Department. Doors are open until about 9 o'clock tonight, and in Charleston, all community centers are open until 9 o'clock as well. Coming up, leaders in Hurricane telling people to bud out.
A new ordinance that may soon make lighting up or vaping illegal in a popular spot in the city.
And your Ashland weather cam, it's hot in more ways than one in Ashland these days. Summer Motion tonight, it's the rock and roll sounds of Marshall Tucker Band. Forecast for 4th of July parades, pool parties, picnics, and fireworks when I come back on News Channel 3 at 6.
All right, now to a train that hit an SUV. This happened in Louisa, Kentucky this morning at the crossing along Franklin Street. Officers say the driver of the SUV simply misjudged the crossing and failed to notice the oncoming CSX train. The driver attempted to back up, but then didn't clear the tracks in time, and bam, that caused the train to clip the SUV's front bumper. You don't get to say this very often when it comes to a train versus a car. No one was injured. Wow. The train also had no damage, only the SUV.
Wow. Well, hey, if you're worried you may have been exposed to hepatitis A and haven't been vaccinated yet, you do have another opportunity.
The Kanawha County Emergency Ambulance Authority, along with the Kanawha-Charleston Health Department, they're taking walk-ins this week. Clinics are scheduled for Thursday at Orchard Manor and Washington Manor, and then on Friday at Little Page Terrace and South Park Village. Both clinics will be held from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m., and the vaccinations are free. The Bureau for Public Health purchased an additional 550,000 in hepatitis A vaccines to support local health department clinics and help eliminate cost during the outbreak.
After the break, city leaders working to clear the air. Smoking bans possibly moving outdoors over in Putnam County.
This is big, really big. Toyota's 4th of July sales event is back. Now through July 9th, get $1,000 cash back on a new 2018 Tacoma. Lease this Tacoma double cab with 0 down payment, 0 security deposit, 0 first month's payment. That's 0 due at signing for $359 a month. Or get $1,750 cash back on a Tundra Crew Max. Toyota's 4th of July sales event. This is big, but it all ends July 9th. Toyota, let's go places.
Mountain Mama, you're the one thing that never let me down. You look like home, feel like home, home.
Quality and value fresh from the farm. Find your farmer's market at farmfreshwv.com.
Happy birthday, honey.
Better food makes a better day.
When you drive impaired in West Virginia, you break the law and endanger the lives of others. Law enforcement across the state is committed to keeping impaired drivers off the road. If you drive impaired, be prepared to pay the price. There are consequences. It's simple, West Virginia. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Anything you want, but everything that you do, make it what you want. Anything you want, and I want. You can do and you can say anything you want, but everything that you do, make it what you want.
HD Dual Doppler Radar, brought to you by the Hands of Experience at St. Mary's Medical Center.
Well, last night we told you about an amendment to an ordinance revealed at the Hurricane City Council meeting.
It would extend the Hurricane City Park's no smoking rule to all public parks within city limits. News Channel 3's Amber Sipes spent the day in Hurricane and has reactions from neighbors there on the new plan.
Valley Park in Hurricane has started planning for smoke-free zones.
A couple weeks ago, where somebody actually threw a lit cigarette in the trash can and caught on fire. It's just unsafe.
But the city could beat them to the punch, extending a smoke-free ordinance to all public parks in Hurricane City limits.
And that's what the people want. They've pushed City Council, they've pushed me and asked for this.
Some Valley Park visitors agree.
I have no problem with this being a smoke-free zone. The kids don't need to be exposed to this. It's time to start cutting out cigarettes.
Valley Park employees see this as a step in the right direction.
I'm happy with the decision. We've got one of the nicest parks in the state, and I'm going to make sure it stays that way.
Amber Sipe, WSAZ News Channel 3, Hurricane.
Now, we couldn't find anyone out there today who disagreed with the plan. However, Hurricane City Council will have a second reading on the amended no smoking ordinance. We'll keep you posted on that date.
Fireworks will be lighting up the sky tonight. The 4th of July holiday getting off to an early start in Huntington and Charleston.
Yeah, the display at Haddad Riverfront Park will begin at 9:30, and people in Huntington can see the Dog Dazzle fireworks over at Harris Riverfront Park starting at 10 o'clock. Grayson, Kentucky will also be letting off theirs tonight at Carter County Fairgrounds. You can also catch a show in Coal Grove, Ohio at Paul Porter Park. And if you're looking for firework displays happening near you, we've made it really easy for you to find. Just head over to our website, WSAZ.com or WSAZ Mobile. We have a full list of all shows happening in our region there right now, along with the time and day.
All right, 6:19. We start with our West Virginia Lottery weather cam in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. The lens is pointed across the river to Gallipolis, where the River Recreation Festival is underway. Tonight is Contemporary Christian Night, and the fireworks comes after the parade. Now, the parade's been moved to 4 o'clock. It's been 7 o'clock other years. 4 o'clock tomorrow in Gallipolis, fireworks tomorrow night over at City Park after the sun goes down. It's a sultry evening. Temperatures falling only into the mid and upper 80s as the sun sets in a blaze of glory. So if you're taking in a fireworks tonight, it's going to be a midsummer night across the area, the fiery sunset. 80 downtown, 70s in the Cool Hollows by midnight. We start in the 70s, heat to 88 by the lunch hour. That will be the start of the Ripley Independence Day Parade. And by 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Gallipolis, where I'll be 95 degrees. A scattered shower, thunder shower, mainly in the mountains, but most areas are dry all the way through fireworks tomorrow evening with temperatures in the 80s for those events. Southerly, barely blowing, temperatures right around the 90-degree mark. And the humidity, when it's 55% and the temperature's near 90, it's a sweltering evening outside. The heat index earlier today has been near 100. It'll be a little above 100 tomorrow into Thursday. Doppler radar quiet for the most part. A couple showers and thunder showers on the high ground from Summersville up, for example, toward Elkins, but for the most part safe for eastern Braxton County, perhaps clipping into eastern Clay County and through northern Nicholas County. For the most part, our area is missing out on the evening activity right now. These shower and thunder showers trying to work their way north toward I-79. Most of us are in the dry, including Ashland for Summer Motion and Gallipolis for the River Rec Festival. And you can see shower and thunder showers. Our pattern from last night is backed up to the lower Ohio Valley. Louisville towards Cincinnati, some downpours have been common in Dayton here during the afternoon. Futurecast says a couple showers north of Cincinnati this evening, and in the mountains, most areas are hot and dry. We start tomorrow morning with some patchy fog, then we blaze tomorrow. We blaze on Thursday into the middle 90s. By the end of the day Thursday, showers and thunder showers will work their way in by Thursday night, and that'll set the stage for a relief from the heat by the end of the week. But at least through tomorrow and Thursday, it's a coast-to-coast heat wave, save for the Pacific Northwest. Eventually, cool air is coming down from the north, introduced by some booming thunderstorms, especially by late Thursday and Friday. So here this evening, steamy sunshine, hot and dry for most. 80s as the sun sets in a blaze of glory. Warm and stuffy overnight at 72. Your fan and air conditioner gets a good workout. Forecast on Independence Day, hot as a firecracker, blazing sun, tropical heat. Any scattered shower or thunder shower will be nothing more than that, widely scattered. 95 on the thermometer, will feel more like 100 or better. Same on Thursday, temperatures in the middle 90s. Then Thursday night into Friday, some rounds of showers and thunderstorms arrive. And once they do, in time for the start of the Lawrence County Fair on Saturday, the temperature will back off with highs over the weekend in the 80s and lows in the low 60s. Winner of tonight's News Channel 3 umbrella, Zella P. of Greenup, Kentucky.
All right, thanks, Tony. Still ahead, big week at the Greenbrier.
But is this the last stop in the summer here for the PGA Tour? Keith's got details next. Plus, we're still following President Donald Trump's visit to White Sulphur Springs.
He is expected to speak to the crowd at any minute now, and we will be carrying his speech live, so stay tuned.
For the first time ever, Captain D's has 3 delicious new tastes for just $3.49 each. Get a giant fish sandwich or 2 Old Bay shrimp po' boys or 2 North Atlantic lobster rolls. Right now, all 3 only $3.49 each.
Captain D's, the taste of the coast.
Founded here in West Virginia, Mylan is now one of the largest pharmaceutical companies serving patients around the world. 3,000 of us work in Morgantown, making groundbreaking discoveries in medicine you can trust. We are the second largest provider of prescription medicine in the United States, and the majority of what we sell in America is manufactured in America. Mylan, better health for a better world, a better America, a better West Virginia.
Hard work is what made our country what it is today. Unfortunately, many workers were exposed to chemicals and asbestos fibers that are now causing cancer. I decided years ago that I would devote my career to helping people that have been told their life was about to change forever. I'm attorney Brian Prim. If you or someone you know has been diagnosed with mesothelioma or other form of work-related cancer, I'm here for you.
With these hands.
We get attached to the patient, so we care for them as we would our own family members.
I want my patients to be cared for the way I would want someone to care for my family.
When I care for an elderly patient, I imagine it's my mother or my grandparent, and I would provide the care for them that I would expect or desire for my loved one.
I love helping people. I try to put myself in if this was my family member, or how would I want them to be treated.
3 for $3.49 each is Captain D's newest price for a giant fish sandwich, or 2 Old Bay shrimp po' boys, or 2 North Atlantic lobster rolls. Right now, all 3 only $3.49 each. Add a side and a drink for just $2.
Captain D's, the taste of the coast.
This sports segment brought to you by your West Virginia Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Just 2 days away from the start of a military tribute at the Greenbrier. And one of the worst-kept secrets this week is that the PGA schedule will change next year, and so too might the Greenbrier date. Plenty of speculation that it might move to the fall. Bubba Watson met the media today and said a date change might not be a bad thing.
The Greenbrier as a business, 4th of July, the history here, the hotel's gonna do good this week, right? And then as the fall, the beauty of fall shows up here. Now you're talking about another week that the hotel's gonna do well again, because we're gonna fill it up just from the tournament perspective. And then the fans that show up, the people that love the game of golf and love the Greenbrier are gonna show up as well.
All right, now Greenbrier fans may again get to know this man over the next 5 days. Robert Streb has finished second in his past 2 Greenbrier Classics, including that 2015 tournament where he accidentally broke his putter and proceeded to putt with his pitching wedge. Incredibly, he shot a 665 that afternoon to make the playoff that Danny Lee later won. Streb figuring out, hanging around here, one of these days he's got to win it, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened. Pretty fortunate to end up where I did. Could have been a whole lot worse, and hopefully this time the putter will behave, right? Last 2 times I played, I was pretty darn close, so maybe I can get it right this time. But yeah, it's always nice to be here, and like you said, you always got good memories here.
All right, finish it up with some World Cup. England and Colombia getting physical. 6 yellow cards for Colombia, 3 for England. 57th minute. It's scoreless. Harry Kane with the penalty kick puts it straight down the center. England has the lead. Now, can they exercise their demons? 93rd minute, Colombia with the corner kick, and this was tied up. So we go to penalty kicks. And how about Carlos Bacca with the miss for Colombia? Eric Dyer with a chance to win it for the Brits, and he does just that. 4-3 in penalty kicks. They advance to the round of 8. How about England?
Okay, one last look at the weather.